What's up, guys? Welcome to the very first episode of Kicks. Oh no, I'm saying what I'm saying.
Retake.
It's okay. You keep rolling. What's up, guys? Welcome to the very first episode of Kasut, Kicks, and Culture. My name is Brannon, and joining me is
Putera. This will be our first show, and my wonderful co-host.
So we're here to talk about everything from kicks to streetwear and everything else in between.
Yep. Just your everyday's man approach to life, I guess.
Hey, you can be more lively, lah, bro. It's not a therapy session.
Some say sneaker shopping is therapy.
No, if you knew him in real life, you know he wouldn't talk like this. He's a bit louder. It's just
I'm a shy guy.
The reason why we want to start this podcast is because we share a mutual love for sneakers and basketball. I think that's how we actually first met as well.
Yep.
And why not? We thought with our experiences in streetwear and sneakers and basketball, why not we just share and talk about it?
I think it's important also that we both actually enjoy collecting sneakers. It's become quite a passion in my lifestyle, especially. It's amazing to see Malaysians also enjoy collecting sneakers. And I believe with Brannon, we share that commonality, which helps us develop a bond, which can be said to be unbroken.
Oh, wow. Very PR. I like it. So maybe as a quick introduction, right? Maybe we can talk about how we started and, how long we've been collecting sneakers, and, we can go from there.
All right,
I think maybe I can start, right? It all started with basketball shoes. I remember the very first sort of basketball shoes I got were the Kobe 6s.
Oh,
if you've seen the Kobe 6, there's a purple...
2009, right?
I think it might be. The very first Kobe 6s, and that was when I was like, wow, this is a great shoe. But now I regret because I beat that shoe to the ground. I only had one pair. Now people talk about getting two pairs, right?
Yep.
One to rock, one to stock.
Yep.
But right now I feel that I regret because that pair of Kobe, I have no idea where it is. Right? So I think my sort of passion for sneakers sort of grew from there. It literally started from basketball shoes. As with all like sneaker culture, I think basketball shoes were the core place where people started their passion.
Yep.
Right? So basketball shoes for me, and then that sort of evolved. So I've lived through cycles of sneaker trends. From basketball shoes to the Boost. You remember the Boost era with Adidas, and now we're back into Nike, and then now obviously with other brands coming around, we have Asics and New Balance, but we'll get more to that later.
Yeah,
so that's essentially how I started collecting sneakers. So why don't you tell us about that?
I've actually been collecting sneakers for when I thought about it, about 15 years altogether. Because, growing up in Malaysia, especially for me, it's very, very hard to find shoe sizes.
Oh, yeah. What size are you?
Size US 13.
Oh, US 13.
Yeah, so, big boy problems. So, growing up, it was very, very hard for me to find sneakers in Malaysia. So, I was very lucky that I had help from my parents to help bring a lot of sneakers from outside to Malaysia. But in our common goals is I started off with basketball shoes and slowly developed from there. And it was crazy that, if I look back to 20 years ago, I think the predominant shoes that were only available was either Nike or Adidas.
That is size 13?
Yep. And if you didn't get it, you're never going to get it again. So with the Kobe 6 that you mentioned just now, I also had a pair from that era, and making the same mistakes I did back then as we do now, you got to get two. One to stock, one to rock.
Sometimes even three pairs.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I've honestly had times right now that I've been had the opportunity to get three pairs of the same shoe. And it's justifiable.
Yeah.
It's totally justified because you want to beat one, have one fresh, and then in case when you have to use the second pair, you have a third pair that's really just fresh and kept. that's what I obviously I'm just an outlier, right? But so don't learn from me.
Don't learn from us.
I can honestly tell you that I had three of the same pairs before. So that's just one of those things. As a sneakerhead, of all the sneakerheads listening out there today, I'm sure you can understand why it's important to have double up sometimes, especially if those shoes are like the limited ones or the hype releases and things like that. For basketball shoes now, especially now, for Kobe's especially, it's so hard to get. Getting one pair is hard already.
So imagine getting two, right?
Yeah. So just as another icebreaker, what are your top 5 shoes of all time?
Oh man, that's quite a tough topic. I had a long time to think about it. Just to share with you, I don't know if I've told you this story. I'm actually a fan. I've always been a fan of the Air Jordan 1s, not because of its iconic glory, but actually because it was the first basketball shoe my dad ever bought for me.
Wow.
When I was a kid.
Okay.
Primary 6 in Sekolah Sri Utama, he bought me the Air Jordan 1 after we watched Space Jam together. So that shoe has always been memorable in my life. The second one, obviously, is the Red Octobers, the Nike Yeezy 2s. However, now it's crumbling and dying. So whatever I can get out of it, I'm happy already. Just to see it still in pristine condition, it is what it is. And number 3 would be actually New Balance. So growing up, I was always predominantly a Nike or Adidas guy. I was very, very brand dominant. But as I grew older, my brand started changing from being Nike or Adidas to something with a bit more comfort, something with a bit more materials. And actually, it was the Salehi Bembry 2002R collaboration.
Wow, that's quite recent as well, huh?
Yeah, so after getting that shoe, I had a whole new appreciation for New Balance. I appreciated what they did for the sneaker game. Yeah.
Interesting. Are these shoes that you actually have of all time? Okay, so we're doing top 5 shoes that we actually have in our collection.
Yep.
Okay.
So, and then number 4, although this is another Air Jordan 1, I think it became more important to me now ever since Virgil's passing. So I think you also know.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's on my list as well.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
It's a very, very iconic shoe, and that person became very, very prominent. And, with his passing, the shoe is now even more iconic and even harder to get in my size. So I can't even imagine how anyone else with my size would be one of the lucky ones to have it.
Wow. Yeah. And I think I remember this story because you were telling me that you actually won this pair from an end raffle.
Yep.
And I, at that time, was like, wow. First of all, it's already so hard to win a raffle. And an end raffle is another sort of layer that it's even harder to win. Yes. And the fact that you got that, you won it from a end raffle in a size 13, this is a shoe I don't think you should always keep.
Yeah. Agreed. Just for context, the end clothing raffle is considered to be one of the most hardest raffles to win anything, basically. To win anything in a size 13, it's almost like winning $1 million lottery.
Yeah. And last one, 5th pair.
The last one, I would definitely say it is and I don't know if we knew each other back then, but do you remember when the Turtle Dove came out in Malaysia?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I wasn't here, but I got a good story about that. Let's tell you on. Yeah.
So actually, it's the Yeezy Turtle Dove 350s. Okay. So reason being is that shoe was the first bloody shoe in Malaysia. I lined up from 4 a.m. in front of Pavilion Mall.
Wow. I
lined up with, back then, one of my colleagues, Kevin. We lined up from 4 a.m. till the store opening. and you know how back then that there was no online raffle, there was no proper guiding system.
Team manual.
It was one of the worst and funniest experiences because you would see hundreds of Malaysians line up just to try and get a raffle ticket. Not even get the shoe, just to raffle.
This is the ticket itself.
Yeah, just the ticket.
And how would you get the shoe with the ticket?
So I got the shoe later on from a reseller, but I just remember the whole experience was we were camping outside Pavilion at Fountain area. Okay. We were waiting there with probably about 300 Malaysians, and it grew as soon as 5 a.m., 6 a.m. There were just more and more people kept on coming on, and as soon as the doors opened 10, it was just havoc. People just ran straight to the Adidas original store, and it wasn't even a big store. It was a smaller store, which is now renovated to a bigger area. So. Man,
wow. I remember if for all the OG sneakerheads that are listening to this, you understand how difficult or rather how fun to a certain extent it was to camp out for shoes. I've had many experiences camping out, and every single camp out was a different experience. Yeah. So that was I'll explain more. That's a good story. Is that top 5? So you have your Air Jordan 1. Do you know what colorway?
My dad actually bought me the Father's Day colorway. So if you Google it, it's actually a light sail with a slight beige.
Your father's
with a red swoosh.
Wow, that's fitting. So you have your Jordan 1s, your Red Octobers, your New Balances, your Turtle Dove, and another Jordan one?
Yeah, so this one is just more for the fact that I was able to get it at retail.
So the Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Off-White Chicago.
The Off-White Chicago. No, actually, just to add, the final one was going to be, that's actually 5, right?
That was fine.
Yeah, that was 5.
Okay, add a special mention if you want.
Well, one special mention that I managed to get at retail was actually the Jordan 1 Dior lows. You know the story.
Dude, don't even remind. I can't believe you called me and you went, "Hey, I got it." I was like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean you got it? Like, who even does that, right? It's not even your size. It's a size 11.
Yeah, it's not even my size.
Hey, I've been trying to get him to sell me this pair for the longest time, and he refuses, even though he knows for a fact that he cannot fit in a size 11.
I'll never forget the story. I got a call on September 10 of that year when it got released, and the lady was like, "Oh, I have a size 11. Can you come on and try it first before selling it?" So I went to the place, wore the most
thinner socks
I could find in my collection, and just went into the store, put it in, and just walked around with it and said, even though it hurt my feet as hell, I said, "This is perfect fit." And I walked out with it.
You liar.
Paid retail for it. Happy man.
To the SA in Dior right now, he's exposing himself right now. He could not fit in that shoe. No way.
Fit me fine until today.
Okay. Well, then I guess talking about my top 5 in my collection. Again, I think each of these shoes have a different meaning to me, and how I got these shoes were a different experience as well. Like, in case, I don't know if you see my sneaker collection. So at its peak, I think my sneaker collection was about 400 pairs, to be very honest. Like 400 pairs.
Standard.
400 pairs, and I've really downsized over the years. I think top 5 for me, top 5 in my collection, but in no particular order, right? So for me, the first one is the Jordan 1 Fragment, the OG one. Right, the very first. I think it was one of the very first.
White, navy blue, and black.
And
right?
with that stamp. And that stamp is all that makes the shoe, right? The Jordan 1 Fragments. And I remember the reason why I say is because it took me, I think, 4 to 5 years just to find that shoe in my size, which is US 10.5, and in brand new condition, and for the price that I wanted to pay, that I was willing to pay. So I was on a hunt for ages to find. I remember like going through different sneaker groups. I went on eBay. StockX wasn't a thing back then, right? I went on eBay and I was like, wow, there are so many pairs, but all of them were worn. I was like, no, I want a brand new pair. And eventually I did get it for the price I wanted. And to add more meaning to the shoe is the Jordan 1 Fragment was a shoe that I wore when I got registered to get married, the ROM.
Yes.
So, you have people wearing suits and sneakers. So I was in a suit and my Jordan 1 Fragments.
So you call class, right?
That is class. That is true style. So I think that definitely has a significant place for me. One, because it was a shoe that I really wanted and really took the effort to find. And obviously I got registered to marry in that shoe, right? The second shoe, if you remember when Adidas started to gain popularity, the Boost era, right? In that, up till today, I still have the triple white Ultra Boost.
Is this still connected?
It's still connected. It's yellow to hell.
Yep.
But I remember that was because that was when I was really getting into the sneaker scene. Right. And apart from the original colorway that Kanye wore, back then when Kanye was like this superstar and whatever he wore to gold, there was a scene where he wore a triple white Ultra Boost for performance. And that was when I was like, wow, what is this shoe? And that was actually the beginning of the Ultra Boost also. When it first launched. And I remember queuing for that. I was in London at that time and we were down by Carnaby, the Adidas.
Yes.
And I was camping from 12 a.m. till the store opened the next morning at 9 a.m. And that was still raffle as well. So even though you're queuing, you weren't even guaranteed the shoe. You had to get a ticket and then they would do like this draw and call your ticket number. And that was when I got my first pair of Ultra Boost, the triple white colorway.
So nowadays everything is online, everything is available. So people nowadays, the new generation sneakers, they don't realize how hard it was.
They don't know
the pain and torture we had to go through in different countries, in different weather conditions, and just different environments just to get the bloody shoe.
I've been through rain, shine, snow, everything. just for one pair. Can you imagine? It was tough. So that was the Fragments, the Ultra Boost. And then similar to you, honestly, I think that the Air Jordan 1 Off-White Chicago, that deserves a place in history because fast forward past the Boost era, when Nike was like still underplayed, right? And Adidas was dominating. You had all your collaborations, your Ultra Boost collabs, your Pure Boost, and all these collabs with Boost. And then all of a sudden, the resurgence of Nike, I think, right? I think a lot of people agree with me as well, is that the resurgence of Nike really started from the original 10 collection with Virgil. So RIP Virgil. Like his 10 collection was just something that no one's seen before. He redesigned all these classic shoes. And when he dropped it, every single week, people were going insane. Yeah. And that was when I think Nike really made their resurgence back. But the most iconic ones, well, two most iconic ones is the Air Jordan 1 Chicago, the original, and the original Presto.
Still got yours, right?
I feel, it's yellow, it's cracking, but hey, I think that's what he wanted, right?
That's the point, right?
Exactly.
So he managed to bring about this whole deconstructed feel to the shoe, which has never been done before. And, I would safely say he was a revolutionary at that point in Nike, because prior to that, like you said, Nike was just in shambles. They had nowhere to go, and he kind of brought them up in that direction. Rest in peace, Virgil.
I think, definitely he one of the pioneers for collaborations in general. Like
definitely.
In this like sort of day and age where brands tend to do more collabs, right? I think Virgil was a true pioneer. And then obviously with Travis coming in, Drake and his Nocta brand. Yeah. So that's the three. The next one, again, is a pair of Kobe's. Oh. So it's actually the Kobe 7 Concords. It was white. It was a predominantly white base with blue, and at that time when they introduced the Kobe system, I don't know if you remember, they had the two insoles that you can change, right? And the reason I still have my original pair today, it's beat to shit. It's yellow, the outsole is gone, but I kept it because it was one of the first basketball shoes that my mom bought for me, and that was the pair of shoes that I won to go in my senior year in GIS for CSAT. I remember. Yeah, so that pair of Kobe's is, even though it's beat, I don't think I can wear it anymore. It definitely is one in my top 5. Yeah, so like I said, Kobe's is one of those things where how it all started my sneakerhead journey while wearing Kobe's. Yeah, I mean it's on your shirt right now, but bro, I'm watching the All-Star game. Kobe's playing right now. Jordan 3.
Kobe. Oh no, it's subbed out.
It's Shaq.
Oh, trash.
And I think the last one for me is. You'd be surprised there's not a lot of like hype. I mean, not hype pairs, but it is predominantly 4 Nike pairs and 1 Adidas pair. But it's actually the Jordan 11 Concord.
Yeah, very very iconic.
So your favorite sneaker may be a Jordan 1, but mine is actually the Jordan 11. There's just something about it that when I first started getting into sneakers, you obviously was trying to learn. I didn't know much about it, right? So I was looking through all these Air Jordan series, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and when I hit the Jordan 11, I was like, wow, this is a shoe. Yeah, right? I love it, like with the pattern leather, especially the Concord, the pattern leather, the black, the white, and the fact that when I was doing research, he was wearing the All-Star game. Oh no. Was it All-Star game? No, he debuted it.
Yeah,
he debuted it
against Orlando.
I think it was Orlando. We'll double check. But that Air Jordan 11 Concord, that is my top 5. Like that's just a beautiful shoe. Dress up, dress down, wear with a suit. Yeah.
So people forget that back in the day, it was almost very, very hard for Jordan Brand to release Jordan 11s. But now it's become like a yearly thing, end of the year, and some sort mid-year. And now they release for women as well, which is good to see. Love to see women wearing the Jordan 11 silhouette and whatnot. But like you said, the Jordan 11 Concord has so much history, and for sneakerheads, and the love you feel for that shoe is real.
In case you didn't know, this year's Jordan 11 release is the 11 Legend Blue or Columbia.
Oh. You have yours still?
Mine is yellow, dude.
Mine is okay. It's still good
really?
condition.
No, mine is yellow.
I dare not put it on.
It'll break. For sure it'll break.
Because the last time we released was 2015 or 2016, right?
2015, I think. 2015. So actually, talking about the Jordan 11 Columbia, I got, your Dior story?
Yeah.
I have the reverse story. So I remember when I was collecting my Jordan 11s, I wanted to get all the OG colorways. I was looking around for different sizes, and I knew because Jordan 11, sometimes I'm between a 10.5 or 11, right? Some guy was selling a Jordan, the Jordan 11 Columbia, US 11.5. Oh. And I thought to myself, I could make that work because it was a good price at that time. It was brand new, and I was really like actively looking for it. So I went to try it on. It was obviously way too big for me. I was like, nah, I'll make it work. I'll make it. I'll triple sock. and I just got it. That's why the shoe I have now is a 11.5. Is the only other pair that I have that's 11.5. One full size bigger than my normal size.
You gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Bro, you can wear your Dior's 11. I think I can wear 11.5.
I can still wear it. You know? I'm just not gonna wear it. I'm not gonna wear it. I can still wear it. I'm just not gonna wear it. I'm just waiting for the right price. You know.
Yeah. Since we've been sneakerheads for so long, I'm sure there are many stories that you've experienced or that you want to talk about. So, what is your most memorable one?
Just thinking about it, going through the motions of how sneakerheads have evolved in Malaysia, especially. I think one of the biggest stories I always remember was the first ever sneaker con in Malaysia.
When was that?
Exactly.
Did we have a sneaker con in Malaysia?
Our first, not sneaker con, our first ever sneaker la in Malaysia.
Oh, was that? Okay.
So if you were a true OG and you were in Malaysia around that 2014, 2015 time, it was actually in that mall again. Where's Tokyo restaurant?
Lot 10.
Yes, it was at Lot 10. They basically rented out 3 floors and each floor partitioned for a sneaker la.
Oh, I think I saw pictures of that.
Yeah,
from
so
back.
if you ever, as a Malaysian and a sneakerhead, and if you were ever in that moment in your life, you realize this is when the sneakerhead culture really started taking off in Malaysia. Because before that, it was very, very subdued. It wasn't very big, People would wear, but you wouldn't know. But when you see people all these collectors showing off their goods, their Supreme wear, their collection, it was an incredible feeling for me as a Malaysian to be there at that first ever sneaker la.
Was this your first sort of full event experience?
Yes,
in Malaysia.
Yeah, for sneaker
in overseas.
Overseas, because prior to that, the only sneaker cons were always overseas in America, which I'm not going to travel all the way there just for that yet.
So that sneaker la was your first eye opener.
Yeah, because it basically showed me that the love for this sneaker collection and lifestyle is truly and deeply there with Malaysians.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think talking about sneaker events, my first one was when I first came back from the UK, and when I moved back after graduating, it was an event called Kick X.
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever heard of Kick X.
I remember that.
And it was at this random place in Puchong, IOI or somewhere in Puchong.
Yep.
And it was literally a square, right? It was a 2-tiered square, and that was also my first experience vending. That was actually my first event participating, and I had no idea what to expect, right? And that was, for me, that was one of the most truly eye-opening experiences in terms of being a vendor and looking at the sneaker scene in Malaysia. Because obviously, when coming from overseas, all I ever saw at that time was Boost, right? It was generally all Boost, right? And when you come back here, you're like, wow, where do all these people get shoes from? Like where do you buy them from? How do you get their stock? Because tables were having like a whole row of Ultra Boost that was sold out. And I was like, wow, how do these people get? And then that to me was the start of what I think what ignited that passion for sneakers in Malaysia and also into the whole reselling community.
Yes.
Right. Talk about reselling, we'll definitely touch base about that because I have a lot of stories about resellers. We have is it fair to say we have a love-hate relationship with resellers?
You know, right? At the end of the day, it's a business. They got to make money, and I respect them for doing it. But personally speaking, I could never be a full-time reseller like that.
Right.
Personally speaking,
right.
Because I love the shoes too much. I would rather give it to people who can't afford it or who are my size. But personally speaking, I wouldn't be a full-on reseller.
You can't just sell size 13s all the time, right?
You know how hard it is. You've tried to sell my shoes and you know how hard it is to find my size.
Yeah. So reselling, I think, is a whole different not community, but I think it's a whole different game. Like you said, if it's a business, fine.
Yep.
Right. But I do understand that people use it to make money. But somewhere along the lines, I think that what differentiates a good reseller versus a less experienced reseller is they actually know about their product. Right. So just to side topic a bit, right? I feel that sometimes resellers will just sell things for the sake of selling it. I've told you this story many times. I asked the guy, hey, what shoe is this? I don't know. I just know the price. I was like, okay. And then there are also resellers who will undercut the next person just to make more money,
Yep.
right? So if you're selling for 100, never mind. I'll sell it for 99 ringgit.
Yeah. It is a cutthroat business they operate. And unfortunately, supply demand, right? People want it, they'll pay for it.
Yeah, but jokes on them now. Now we know the current market trend is GRs are reselling.
Yeah.
GRs are selling out. And it's a great time to be a buyer because a lot of people are not willing to spend that amount of money that they would spend maybe 4 or 5 years ago for hype sneakers.
Definitely.
Right. So I got a good story about that actually. So one particular shoe that I have a love-hate relationship with, one particular shoe, is the Jordan 1 Travis Scott, the OG colorway. The very first Jordan 1 high,
the brown one,
the
right?
brown, that brown original one, right? And the reason why I have a love-hate relationship with that shoe is that I got scammed when buying.
As a sneakerhead, we've all been scammed at least once. If you've never been scammed, that's a lie. I guarantee you, 200 million%. Everyone's been scammed once. I have been scammed multiple times.
It's a learning experience. Yes. It builds character.
Yep.
Being a sneakerhead builds character.
The feeling you get after you receive your parcel and you know right away this is a ring.
That's the worst. That's the worst feeling.
Yeah.
And then you got to go through the whole process of like trying to get a refund or calling out the seller.
Yep.
So let me tell you about this Travis one story. Like I said, it's a really love-hate relationship because back when I was still reselling heavily, right? I was reselling sneakers. Sure. So you build your network, your connections. When that Jordan 1 Travis released a week before, people were doing pre-orders, right? So as a reseller, obviously I'm gonna try and get as much stock as I can, even if the pre-order is somewhat expensive.
Yep.
I know that when the shoe releases, the market value will obviously increase. So I will still potentially make money off that pre-order price. So I ordered 10 pairs, right? At that time, I had pre-ordered 10 pairs, and somehow or another, I had this feeling where maybe I should have a contingency for some of my my more exclusive buyers, the one who trust me.
Yeah.
Right. So as a contingency, I actually bought a pair from StockX.
Oh wow!
I bought a pair from StockX, right? And when all the shoes came, everything was fine. Like nothing wrong. The StockX pair, I sent it to my VIP custom buyer, and the pair was fine. It was legit. You legit check everything, and the 10 pairs that came, all the buyers took it, no problem, right? And I got my own pair as well. My own pair, I actually won from the Offspring raffle.
Oh.
I remember Offspring is Offspring is a retail chain in the UK, and I won the raffle from Offspring in my size. So I knew for a fact that one confirmed is a real pair, and I kept that my own personal pair. Obviously, I want a pair as well, but the 10 pairs were sourced from different resellers, right? Well, everything was fine. Then the release came. Obviously, the price increased, but whatever. I already sold it, right? And then 2 months later, like some of the people that I sold the pairs to came back to me like, "Hey, something doesn't feel right about this pair." I was like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
Right? Like, what do you mean? And he was like, "Yeah, I did like a few legit checks, and the pair doesn't feel the same as some of my other friends' pairs, and some of the other friends' pairs, they got it from like sneakers or Nike or authorized retailers." So like, oh, okay. And at that time, for those who don't know, that the Travis 1 OG pair had a lot of QC issues.
Yes.
There was multiple, because they were produced in different factories, and some of the stitching was off, the lining off. So I just chalked it down to, hey, it's just a QC issue. Like you know yourself that people can talk about this Travis pairs QC. The logo wasn't embossed properly. The logo was off placement, but it was all QC. So I just chalked it out. I didn't think much of it. I chalked it down to QC. And then more of the other 10 pairs I saw all came back saying, hey, our pairs are a bit different. How come? I was like, QC. I just played it off as QC issues, right? And so you see where the story is going. And then I went and checked the StockX pair. That was where I knew, oh no, something is wrong. Because the pair that came from StockX versus my pair that came from Offspring, they were the same. You see the logo, the heel, everything was all the same. I took one pair from the 10 batch and I compared, bro. There was a clear difference. Into like, even if you say it's QC, right? It can't be that far apart, right? And that was when I knew, oh my god, this is This is bad. And the reason why I say it is because one of another buyer who wasn't so understanding, he wanted compensation, right?
Yep.
Which is fine. Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, of course.
Hey, if it's like not legit, you got scammed. If it's fake, fine. I take responsibility because I'm the one who sold it to you. But he was like, no, I want you to also compensate me for the difference. I was like, what difference? He meant, so because he took a pre-order from me.
Yep.
So for example, I sold to him for, let's say, 1,000 ringgit. And he was going to resell it for maybe 1,800 ringgit. He meant, I want you to compensate me for the 1,000 ringgit that I spent with you, plus the potential 800 ringgit on top that I could have made if the shoes were real.
Wow.
So I was like, what do you mean? Like, obviously not, right? How can I control whether or not you make the extra 800? Right? I am liable. Yes, I will admit my mistake and I will be liable for the amount that you paid to me. I give you a full refund, no question asked. The 1,000 you paid me, I'll refund you back. But he was insistent on me trying to cover his so-called profit. So I was like, that's ridiculous. And this became a huge thing. I got called out. This is the first time I've ever gotten called out. In all the years I was reselling and building my connections, that was the first time I ever got called out.
That's why you know it's a cutthroat business. People will shame you, they will name you, and that will just ruin your whole business model.
Your friends until like shit hits the fan, literally. And that's how, like you said, is how cutthroat, and to a certain extent, it can be really toxic.
Yes.
Because everybody thinks they're entitled to something, whereas everybody is saying, there are even resellers who call themselves entrepreneurs.
It's just a fancy way of saying, I made money from doing this.
Yeah. Right. And I'm not saying I'm knocking against their business model.
No, of course not.
Right. I respect it. It's fine. You want to make money, go ahead. But not to a point where you think you're better than others just because you can get X amount of shoes, or you're able to backdoor or be able to get a whole stock of limited shoes.
But again, right, it's just the entitlement they feel by being able to do that other people can't, right?
It's toxic.
I know. But it's like that story from, I don't know if you remember a few years ago, there was a Nike executive, the son, changed all the ordering orders to deliver to this random warehouse. And he had the entire collection of all these rare sneakers and was just reselling it, making money until he got caught for posting about it.
Yeah, I mean, don't be dumb, right? You gotta
but again, you come to that position where you want to show it off, then that's what happens, right? People are going to catch on.
Taking a quick break to show you what's on feed today. So maybe you should go first because I know you always copy me.
This is a weekly thing. We want to show sneakerheads that, every week we are on par to wear something new and fresh, and we want everybody to be happy with what they are wearing themselves. So today I'm bringing out my big boys.
The big boys.
The LeBron's Game of Thrones.
Watch the Throne.
Watch the Throne edition, sorry. So if people didn't know, this shoe came out actually in 2012 with the Watch the Throne concert with Jay-Z and Kanye West. It was one of the biggest concerts in the world. I managed to go for the concert in London.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You were there?
Yeah.
Wow.
They had 7 concerts. I went for day 6.
Wow.
Yeah. So this shoe back in the day was a special collab which was released only during the concert period.
It was a PE.
Yeah. So people had no idea how bloody hard it is to get this. And, now they've re-released it, and alhamdulillah, I was blessed to be able to get not the original pair, but
the retro pair.
the current retro pair. And it is a shoe with a lot of memories because it was an amazing concert, and to see it come out again not too long after, it's quite a good experience for me. So, cheers.
You inspire me, bro. I'm gonna wear my pair tomorrow.
Good lad.
The pair that I have today is actually a pair that I never thought I would like. Don't you have those pairs where you see pictures and you think, that's okay, it's an okay shoe, right? Until I saw them in hand, and the fact that it was one of the shoes I can openly admit and say, hey, I don't think that's a really nice shoe. Until I saw it in hand. So we have the Nike Air Force One Tiffany's.
Yep.
So I know a lot of people were saying like, oh, it's a black Air Force One with just a Tiffany swoosh and like the silver egglet at the back. But if you really see it in hand, the quality of materials on this like is insane.
Yep.
Like I really think that from an execution standpoint and materials, they did a really good job. Right. And a lot of people will say, oh yeah, it's so plain. Like they just stuck on a Tiffany blue swoosh and added that Tiffany like small silver plate at the back. But I think that as far as quality, like this is a really nice shoe.
Yeah, definitely is.
You see like this is super soft. Yeah, that leather lining, obviously people are all hyped over this. But I can honestly say this is one of my most worn shoes. Even though I didn't like it from the start. I saw pictures, I was like, yeah, I'm not sold until I saw the Carmelo Anthony ad. Yeah. And he actually said that I'm gonna bring black Air Force Ones back. So you know it's a thing, right? People are like all white Air Force Ones only. But the fact that they made this a black pair and just subtle hits of Tiffany, I think this is a really good shoe.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just to add on to his story, he actually wore that shoe last year at SneakerCon Singapore. Right off the box heap. I'll never forget, we were lining up to go in. He comes up with the box, unboxes it, puts it on, and just goes into the bloody sneaker convention with it.
You gotta show him what's on feed, right?
Yeah, and I think being in that sneaker con, you really see all the different sneaker collectors all over Asia, ASEAN, and you see the Thai collectors, you see the Indonesian collectors. It was an incredible sight, and some of the rarest pairs I've ever seen. I think I showed you, right? That guy had the
Heinekens. Some guy had a Heinekens on.
Heinekens and also the Freddy Kruegers.
They were on feet as well.
Yep. So that was one of the rarest shoes to ever see. And, speaking to some of our Nike exec friends, I think there's only about less than 300 pairs in the world.
For sure.
Yeah.
The fact that it's still wearable as well.
Yep.
Most of these Freddy Kruegers or Heineken dunks are all in display cases.
Yep.
We even saw What the Dunk. Surprisingly, I've seen more for a sneaker that's supposed to be super rare, right? I've seen more what the dunks, the original What the Dunks, like the past 6 months than what I think that they said it was very limited. I've definitely seen more of those not on feet, but in display cases. Because I don't think you wear those anymore. No way.
Yep. Yeah. So he came in with into SneakerCon with those shoes. And I guarantee you, he was one of 4 people who wore it.
Yeah.
So he definitely won that battle there. I was there with my Nike SB Orange Lobster because I was a happy man to finally get an lobster collab, which is one of the hardest to get.
Was it the orange?
Yeah, the orange. Because the orange one was the new one.
Right.
I was copying all these other skater kits and I was fine, happy with my orange pair.
Do you skate or not?
I don't. I wish I could.
No. Yeah. But see, like going back to sneaker cons, right? You would think that, oh yeah, if I have this rare pair or one limited pair, someone else would definitely have that pair too. I haven't been to a sneaker event where I haven't seen one pair of only that pair throughout a whole sneaker con. Right. Even like I said, the Tiffany Air Force, there was 4 other people wearing it.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
In a space of thousands, you are one of 4.
Yeah. So I win.
Yeah, pretty much.
So talking about sneaker brands right now.
Yes, sir.
Right, we talked about how when I was starting off as sneakerhead, it was always Boost. So I can say I've lived through the Boost era, from the Ultra Boost to your Yeezys, right? And every single Yeezy model. And then Virgil released the 10.
Yep.
And then Nike make a comeback. You have Travis leading with all the other off-white pairs. Right? But right now, we're in 2024. What do you think? How do you think that all these brands are competing, especially with the popularity of Asics, New Balance, Sailor Moon, Saucony? Like where do you think we are in terms of brands?
So when you look at brands, right, you look at the economics of it, right? So Nike is the largest sportswear company in the world.
Right.
Agreed?
Yeah.
So secondly is Adidas.
Yeah.
So the top 2, it's going to be very hard to move them. But you have brands like New Balance, who have officially showed they have made profits in 2023.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
So they've made more profits than both Nike and Adidas. And why is that? Look at the quality of the product they come up with.
Right.
Some I have to say, like the new collabs with Salehe Bembry and other notable artists, it's insane the quality you're getting for
Action Bronson.
Yeah, there you go. The quality and the comfort you're getting for the same price point as a Nike or Adidas. And I think you can agree that as you grow older as a sneakerhead, your tastes start to differ.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think what you're saying in terms of the economics of it is that consumers are more, how do you say, are more wary of how they want to spend their money. They're more conscious.
Definitely.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's value, right? So this is one topic which I love to bring up is the New Balance 550s.
Right, okay.
When they first came out in 2021 with, they had a collab with ALD.
Yeah.
That shoe went crazy viral in a space of like couple of months. It went crazy viral in the summer of 2021. And nobody could get it. Nobody in Malaysia could get it. Nobody in Asia could get it because the 550 was so limited. And now, readily available everywhere, but at a fraction of a cost.
The 550, what's retail price? Do you know?
I think about 400. Yeah.
Let me pull it up. Let me see.
It's about if the no collab ones, they're about under 400 plus. So about the same rough price as a Air Force One.
The price of a New Balance 550 is 549, right? On sale.
Yep.
On sale, it actually goes all the way to 384 ringgit.
Yep.
So I get what you mean. But have you actually won a pair of 550s?
I have.
You have?
Yeah.
It's so stiff. Okay, from a fashion standpoint, I get it, right? And also, obviously, being fueled by Taylor Swift, right? The day that she was spotted wearing a New Balance 550, a lot of the 550s went out of stock.
I know, especially that color, the
red one,
red, white, and black.
It literally went out of stock. I was like, what is going on, right?
Yeah, but again, that's the power of branding, right?
That's a soft like collaboration,
yes.
right? So I get what you mean in terms of like where it comes with collaborations and branding New Balance, but you could argue the same that with Asics as well, right? Right now, there's just something going on in terms of the formula. Whoever is doing that whole strategy or brand strategy for Asics is it's great. Like it's a genius.
So so did you know that Asics released a shoe similar to the 550?
The EX,
EX89.
Yeah.
So I got a pair and I was mildly impressed.
Oh yeah?
The value for money is there.
It's around the same price, right?
No, it's I think about 500, 600 ringgit. But the quality and the craftsmanship and the fact that they actually put in a cushion in the bloody shoe, that shoe is if people don't know, that shoe is actually more than 20 years old. So it was used in the basketball during the 80s, late 80s and early 90s. So
the EX89.
Yeah. So you can imagine how much cushion there was back then. Zero, basically. Yeah.
Hey, if they could play in Converses, my knees would burst. My knees would actually break.
Yep.
Okay, so the EX89. So I think that there's a formula to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? By capturing, obviously, when it comes to marketing strategy, there's trends. There is a sort of underlying key message of what you want to drive. So a lot of the shoes now, and I think was the turning point for brands like New Balance and Asics is that they really marketed and captured the whole chunky Y2K shoe trend. Right?
They've got that mesh runner vibe
exactly.
as well.
Every single popular model now, let's take Asics for example. You have your Asics 2160. You have Asics 2002R.
Yes.
You have the,
the
1980. All these have the one common characteristic is that they're all mesh sneakers.
Yeah. Because low value, it's not expensive to make, but people want it. It's like the Vomero 5s now.
Exactly. Nike reintroduced the Vomero 5 because it's trying to compete with all these like dad shoe mesh sneakers that are gaining so much popularity. They introduced the Y2K runner. I don't know if you've seen it for women's first.
Yes, I have.
The Y2K. Again, it's a mesh sneaker. So by capturing all these trends, like that's why I think that brands like Asics and New Balance are becoming. Well, not becoming, they already are so popular, but that was a turning point in which how they re-emerge, right?
Yeah. So again, look at the costing and look at what you're getting for it, right? I believe Asics, bare minimum Asics is very, very comfortable compared to a bare minimum Nike.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've had this model. What's the one that we got, the JJ on?
The John New Balance?
No, the Asics JJ.
The Gel Cayano.
Yes,
Gel Cayano.
So those ones, and you can agree to this. It is one of the most comfortable shoes ever.
The model itself.
Yeah, the model itself. It is very, very comfortable, and you can wear it anywhere, any place, match it with anything. You feel good. The only thing is just because of that bloody collab with that brand, the price went up ridiculously.
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought it up because what the next thing I want to say is like collaborations.
Yep.
Do you think that collaborations are driving a lot of sneaker sales now
Oh, definitely.
compared to GRs?
100%. If I were to tell you that, okay, this JJ Aon Kayano 20 is available at $300 versus Kayano at $100.
Or you'd get the collab.
There you go. Why?
I would get a collab.
Why would you get a collab?
Exactly. So again, I do think that collaborations definitely do drive sneakers.
Yes.
By the end of the day, you should also be looking at the product. So for taking that gel Kayano 14 that you just said, the Jaun Kayano 14 versus the GR Kayano 14, they're literally the same color.
Same thing. Same
The
color.
only difference is the Jaun logo.
Yep.
Right?
Which is hidden, basically.
Yeah,
you can't even find it.
You can't tell. Right? But someone who knows would definitely get the collab version compared to the GR version.
Exactly.
Versus the average consumer who'll be like, same. One's like half price cheaper.
Yep.
Why not? Right. So I think collaborations are definitely driving. And if you look at what brands are doing, right? I think that a lot of brands are sometimes doing too much for collaborations.
Yep.
Right? Every single thing is a collab. I'm not saying so. Bring back to I don't think collaborations are bad, but to what point is it too much?
Yep.
Right.
So there has to be a limit to how much they're willing to do. But
You think
of
so?
course, in anything there has to be a limit. I mean, remember this story about Travis Scott? Remember how he came up and said him and Nike actually said after the Nike Travis Scott won the olive green, they said there'll be no more.
Dude.
What happened after that? We got a golf one, which looks exactly like the mocha. And what happened after that? Now we're getting a yellow one. And then after that,
we're
now
getting
a
green.
full olive green one.
Yeah.
So from stopping, they decided to make 3 new models.
From a
Three
business
colorways.
standpoint, that kind of makes sense, right? Because they want to sell more. But
Yeah,
again,
of course.
how much collaboration is too much? If you look at all these big brands so far, the ones that we just mentioned, we have Nike, Adidas, Asics, New Balance. Every single one of these brands has a collaboration with artists, designer, labels, brands. They have a collab, right? And some of them can be the most obscure models, right? And I'm sure you can tell. I've sent you pictures of this before. The for Nike, the Travis Air Trainer.
That shoe,
The two colorways.
Those were I can tell you right now, those were one of the few Nike shoes I've seen on the sale section. And
I never thought I would have seen a collab.
Yeah,
on
we
sale.
saw it at the outlet store.
Exactly.
It's still sitting.
Yeah, it's still there, right? So, like, I think again, how do collabs work, and to what point is it too much? Like, are they just doing it for the sake of milking it, or that's what I think?
No, they're definitely milking it.
Comment down below. Tell us what you think about collabs.
I guarantee they're milking it, because they know the brand is there. Especially with Travis Scott. But
Right.
But honestly, some of the things that they've come up with the Travis Scott branding has been very, very bad.
Have you seen his signature shoe?
Yeah, the Jumpman Jack,
The
right?
Jumpman Jack.
Honestly, he has marketed it as an all-day shoe.
Yeah.
But when I look at the tech specs, there's nothing there.
There's no air.
Yeah.
It's like mesh.
So, pretty much. It's just like a basic trainer you use every day, but I don't know how you're going to play basketball. I don't know how you're going to play,
no
go
way.
hiking with it.
No way.
No way.
To be fair, specifically talking about Nike,
Yep.
some of their OG shoes should be left at that. It should just be OG. You shouldn't try to bring the hype back from an OG pair just by adding a name to it. Right? The Air Trainer, iconic shoe. Right?
Yep.
The story behind the Air Trainer, like you said, is as a all-in-one shoe. You can play basketball, gym, workout, whatever that may be, as an Air Trainer shoe.
Yep.
Why are you adding a collaboration name to a model that's already great? Might as well just do a full-blown campaign to really bring the history and story behind it.
I mean, the best example is the Nike Air Max Attack.
Air Max Attack.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
See,
the
best example.
Exactly. That's a great example. The Air Max Attack. They released 2 Air Max Attacks, right? So one was a Travis one, and one was the OG
original
grey one.
yeah.
The only difference is the reverse swoosh.
So, as a sneakerhead, when you see this, you're dumbfounded. Why would you do this, Nike?
Yeah.
Honestly, why would you do this?
I actually have another example. Another example is the Billie Eilish ones.
Oh, that one I got conned lah. I got conned big time.
Someone showed me a comparison of the white and red Billie Eilish versus the white and red GR release.
Yep.
I couldn't tell them apart. They're the same.
They're exactly the same. Everything from the build, the material, everything's the same except for the branding.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. You can't tell the difference. Right. So we've been talking about Nike, right? But what do you think has been a collab this year so far from any brand that has made you be like, wow, this is a great shoe. I love the story behind it. Has anything made you
this
like
year
that?
particular?
Yeah, so far.
No, not yet.
No, really?
No. Personally speaking, this year I see it as Nike pushing for their Reimagine series quite a lot.
Right.
So I think we saw the news that they were planning to reimagine the Jordan 3s.
Oh, I love
the
that shoe.
Cements.
I love that shoe.
Best shoe, one of the best shoes ever. And now they've pulled it back and say no, they're not going to reimagine it because they've done it too much already. They've overdone it now. So
they're going to remaster it.
Oh, they're going to remaster it?
So I think the article I sent you,
Mm.
it's not going to be a reimagine like your Lost and Found or your White Cement 3s. It's going to be remastered to be more OG. You know how they released that the latest bread for the Jordan, right? That one, hey, people were hating on that shoe in the beginning, saying there's nothing reimagined about it. It's just leather.
Yeah.
But if you see it in hand, whoa, that quality is
Smooth as butter.
And the shape, apparently, if you're a real stickler for the details, that shape is more true to the OG than the previous 2016 release.
I mean, I got the 2012 one with the Jumpman at the back, the breads. Then I had the 2016 one. I still have
Nike
mine.
Air.
Yeah. Nike Air one, and I've got the new one, the Reimagines.
Yeah.
Because I'm a sucker for Forza. So I actually compared all three of them, and to be honest, there is a difference in the shapes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm really hoping that they do the Black Cement 3 right by doing a remastered shape, at least with better materials. You know, that leather better be soft.
That's one thing with Nike does, right? They kind of put it out there, see how it is, whether or not to continue. I mean, like one of the misses was actually the Air Jordan 1 Royal Blue Suede.
Oh, dude. I actually like that shoe.
Yeah.
I actually really like that shoe.
As a collector, an all suede Air Jordan 1, you'll never ever see this again.
I really like the
And if you remember, not that long ago, they released a full Flyknit Air Jordan 1.
Oh, I remember. Yeah. They had a Flyknit 1 bread, Flyknit 1 Royal, and I think a Shadow, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But so, no one loved that shoe.
Like, because they didn't understand they didn't see the value in it, right? But as you grow, when you bring that shoe down the line, you actually realize, wow, they actually made a whole Flyknit out of Air Jordan 1 model, right?
Do you have that shoe?
Of course.
You do?
Yep.
Wow. Oh, interesting. Like I'm honestly just waiting for the Royal Reimagines to go on sale.
Did they say they're coming?
It's on sale. I'm waiting for it to go on sale.
Okay.
So,
but I got the suede. I won the end clothing raffle for that. It's just my luck.
Yeah.
I got it, and to be honest, like for that whole entire suede shoe, it is very comforting knowing compared to the other AJ ones.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go have a try when it goes.
Just wait for it to go on sale.
Yeah, that's what I call 2 pairs. What?
3, bro. 3
pairs. One collaboration. Well, maybe you can consider this a collaboration, but it has to do with, I guess, athletes and brands. I guess people who drive brands and their products. The one collaboration, or rather campaign, and even the shoe that really impressed me is the Adidas AE1.
Wow!
I showed you that photo, and I was like, dude, the whole campaign behind the AE1 was genius because they subtly threw shade at all the other brands and marketed it to a point where a basketball shoe can actually sell out, apart from Kobe's. Because RP Kobe, I'm sure everyone is trying to get their hands on Kobe's, but for a brand new athlete signature shoe from Adidas, a basketball shoe that sells out, it's ridiculous.
It's unheard of in this day and age. Right? They did it so well.
And you understand, Sean, I was messaging you, I was like, hey, it's so hard to get the AE1. Like they sell out online, you go in store, they're all gone. I was like, who is buying all the AE1s? Right? And then a few days later, I see a post of someone wearing it as part of Paris Fashion Week. Right? So it is now a blend of lifestyle and performance and basketball shoes, something that I think is going to be a big theme for sneakers this year. Not just for the AE1 and Adidas, but for all the other sort of brands that are into performance footwear.
Yep.
Right? You have Nike, with your Devin Booker ones.
Yeah, they book ones.
Right? You drop 50 on the court and drop 50 in the club.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Adidas AE1. New Balance, they have your Fresh Foam BBs.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
The V2s one.
The V2s, right? And then Asics basketball. If you don't know, Asics does do basketball shoes.
Yep,
but that's not so popular, right? And then you have Puma, right? Puma recently going into basketball shoes and performance footwear. They're really resurging again because they have your Mellow line, right?
Yeah.
And then you also have Scoot, and even their team models are just as good. The Nitro Pro, I'm sure you've tried it. You said
it's an amazing shoe, and you know it's basically an all rounder, can fit everywhere, anytime. So and the colors they put on there are quite popping as well.
So do you think that with the shoe they're wearing today, you have the LeBron 9s on, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that right now with performance footwear and lifestyle and everything blending together, is the comeback for wearing basketball shoes casually happening?
Oh, definitely.
Would you wear?
We are living in it now.
Really?
Yeah, I've walked around. I've seen people for some reason wear Steph Curry's, the Under Armour shoes.
Just casually.
Just casually. I've seen it, and you know, in Singapore I saw it, in KL I see it, and you know, it's nice to see because at the end of the day, they are fashionable shoes depending on the colorway.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Also, I think one thing we forgot to mention is shout out Curry brand for Under Armour.
They very
Steph
strong.
Curry, we forgot we are a Curry brand, but
Happy birthday!
Oh yeah, it was
His birthday, 14. Yeah.
But the Curry brand for performance, one of the best shoes I've played in.
Definitely.
And we play so much basketball, it's insane.
Yeah, it suits everything. Any court, anytime. You know, it's definitely consistent.
Oh, so maybe we're going back to 2003, 2004, where people, was it where they're walking around with LeBrons and the Nike Elite socks? I didn't remember. It was such a popular combo. You have your Nike Elite socks with the KD4s, the LeBron 8, LeBron's 9s.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a time. What a time it was.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
So definitely now, you know, what do you say, athleisure wear?
I say athleisure.
Yeah, athleisure.
Like performance and lifestyle.
Yeah,
performance, lifestyle, and footwear.
So with the way the AE ones has done it is incredible. Like shout out to Adidas marketing team, they did incredible. But they to compare it to Nike, where the D-Book ones, I mean the biggest controversy was I don't even remember. You know, they never released the shoe in Phoenix.
The D-Books?
Yeah, their first ever release was in Miami.
The orange
ones.
Ooh, yes.
So that was quite a big controversy,
right?
You know, it's like, hey, how can you release a shoe not in his home team state, right?
Yeah.
Of all places in Miami, where people can't get it.
Yeah, I remember the very first color, the orange one.
Yeah.
If you look on StockX right now, that resale price is crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Even
It's
when
insane.
they brought it in, that Mirage colorway I was telling you, it was so hard to get.
Yeah, but
know.
I think last Sunday I saw your friend Ian wear it.
Yeah,
right?
the blue one.
Shout out Ian.
Yeah, he was, so funny story about that. He was telling me he wanted it as well, right?
Yeah.
And I got a notification saying the D-Book ones are released.
Yep.
Immediately I called him and said, drop whatever you're doing and go get the shoes right now. Because minutes later it's sold out.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, who is buying all these shoes? It's literally a basketball shoe. At the very core, it's a basketball shoe, right? And you're buying it, the resellers obviously going to buy the resale, but people who buy it are like wearing it casually.
Yep.
And I think, wow, yeah, actually, there is a fine line now between wearing performance shoes and wearing them casually. So I think that sort of mentality is changing, and you're right. So more and more people are saying, well, I don't know, because for me, coming from a background of sneakerheads, usually be like, he's wearing basketball shoes, nothing Allah. You know, it's something that you always say like, hey, he's wearing basketball shoes casually. Who does that? But now that whole sort of trend and marketing has sort of shifted.
Yeah.
Like, huh? I don't know. I don't think I'm at a point where I would wear, apart from my Kobe's, that I'll wear any other performance basketball shoe casually.
You could wear the LeBron 10 corks.
LeBron, no,
You
bro,
could pull it off.
No.
You could pull it off.
No.
LeBron 2 white gold.
Still no.
Can all these shoes?
I wouldn't wear it casually. I
guarantee if you wear it, you will definitely feel the vibe.
But that has to do with style also, right?
Yeah,
Like
and even the LeBron one. Do you remember had the 10
first
leather?
game. The first
Zoom generation 10 leather.
No,
it was literally like Timberland. That's what they were going for, Timberland boot style.
No, I wouldn't. Not yet. I will only maybe just wear Kobe's casually, but LeBron's not someone. I mean, maybe that you inspire me, right? I'll wear it tomorrow and see.
Yeah, but man, like I said, when you look at it that way in this current trend, right? It is incredible to see that the availability of all these sneakers now.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah,
it's a great time to be a sneakerhead and
just
even a
sneaker
buyer.
even a buyer. So
it's great.
Yeah, so to touch on more about that subject is that what we are feeling, what we're seeing now is the current accessibility trend where you have access to all these sneakers either from reseller or just from your local stores. And being a sneakerhead and being able to find my size here in Malaysia right now is an incredible feeling. Of course, sometimes I'm always let down, but overall, finding the right size, the right pair at retail, it is the best feeling in the world. It is guaranteed one of the best feelings in the world.
I feel that.
Yeah.
It's very refreshing.
Yeah.
Right. Having all these years previously where, oh no, even if you try to buy online, bots will overtake. Bots is a whole different topic too.
Yeah.
But hey, I get where you're coming from. It's definitely refreshing and it's such a great feeling when you walk in like, hey, that's the model I want. That's the size. They have it in my size. Okay. Retail checkout fresh in a box.
That feeling of jubilation is something you cannot get anywhere else. So what has been your most underrated brand that has caught your eye this year?
Right. So I got one in particular, right? And I think people should definitely start taking note of this brand. It's been around for ages.
Yeah.
Right. This brand has been around for ages. And more recently, again, they did a collab, which is why I looked into it, which I thought the shoe is Saucony. What caught my eye to look into Saucony was the collaboration with J-Tips. And if you don't know who J-Tips is, I didn't know. I'll be honest, I didn't know who he was.
Is he a
right? He's an artist from New York.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
He's a rapper,
yeah.
and he has actually been on a roll. If you haven't been following Saucony, definitely check them out because this J-Tips shoe was on a lot of people's top 10 releases
for this year.
Last year, 2023.
Okay.
Last year, right? This J-Tips collab was for the Saucony Grid Azura 2000.
Oh.
And it is wild, right? This was it.
Wow.
Right? And this shoe really, really caught my eye. And I was like, wow, this is a loud shoe, right?
Definitely.
The materials are great. And the story behind it is what I think really drew me to the pair as well. So the idea behind his first shoe, they literally marketed it as J-Tip's first shoe with Saucony. And it's called For Those Who Fronted. And what that means is that J-Tips collaborated with Saucony to create this sort of colorway around this model for those people who doubted him and for those who supported him from the start. So, and then
that's an incredible backstory for the shoe.
I love when sneakers have stories behind them and it resonates with me, especially, right? So this Saucony, and then he followed up with 2 more shoes. He did 2 more colorways of the Saucony Grid Shadow 2.
Okay, yeah.
And there were 2 colorways, right? And if I show you, like, this is sick, man. Look.
Oof. That is nice.
I feel like a brand that people should definitely pay attention to right now is Saucony.
Yeah, they do have a flagship store in Pavilion KL now.
But not the collabs lab.
Yeah, that one, you know.
And again, if you haven't tried a Saucony shoe before, I actually went into that store and tried on the GR models.
Yep.
And they are comfy. They're comfy. They're mesh. The materials are good. Price point roughly the same as Asics and New Balance. And it's comfy. So if you're looking for, again, a brand that, you know, is up and coming, in my opinion, underrated so far, is Saucony.
Good to hear. For me, the one brand that has actually caught my attention for the past 6 to 8 months, just been studying the brand and trying to understand, is actually Salomon.
Salomon.
So I have seen so many artists, so many athletes wear that brand.
All right.
Yeah.
It's like it's a hiking shoe. Right?
Yeah, it's basically a hiking shoe brand. Trail running brand as well, and it's very famous in the running community for, you know, using it for off-trail running and hiking and all these things. But for some reason, it's come into a lot of like fashion radar, if that makes sense. It was in the Paris Fashion Week last year, Milan Fashion Week this year, and I just never understood the value of it and the whole idea of it.
Have you tried a pair?
Yeah, I actually did.
Which one?
I got it.
Which one?
The Salomon XT6.
Right. Okay.
All white.
Oh, of course. I mean, you gotta try it. It has to be triple white,
You
right?
know how it is.
So talking about Salomon, I think you're right in terms of I've seen two popular models, the XT4
Yep.
and the XT6.
Yeah.
I can't say I've tried the XT4, but I have tried the XT6 and it is comfy.
That's why.
Right.
So, like I said, as you grow older as a sneakerhead, your style changes. You have a new appreciation for comfort. So especially when you're going to be walking around all day, doing your shopping, doing your whatever it is you need to do, you want to be comfortable, right?
Right.
So- Putting on those shoes, experiencing it, you're like, yeah, wow, I can mess with this. This is definitely out of my comfort zone trying this.
Oh.
Yeah. And one thing was that caught my eye was it was all over the news in Coachella last year.
Someone's?
Yeah, it was the one shoe that was like that, and Vans were like the most two shoes used in.
Wow.
Yeah, surprising.
Well, I don't think Vans will ever die. Vans,
that one for sure.
Vans has a stereotype of being like the go-to festival shoe.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
Especially now the comfy cush ones.
The new school comfy cush?
Yeah, you know it.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
We gotta try a pair of Vans. Can't say I have a pair of Vans, but hey, maybe after this we'll check it out.
Yeah, like if I can find my size here, why not?
Hey, non-sponsored Vans. That takes us to the end of this episode. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, follow, all that good stuff. In the comment section down below, let us know what your top 5 sneakers are.
Keep it fresh.